Learning to listen effectively in another language is a complex skill that combines different cognitive and linguistic processes. Being able to break it down and really develop the subskills will tremendously help. My background, I spent about 8 months learning Spanish with a 2-month break, so 6 months in total. At a B2 to C1 level, and I can read complex novels and follow the plots. I understand most content that isn't a thick accent, and I've had dates in pure Spanish without Google Translate. So I want to break down the subskills required to be a better listener and share what I did. I even asked ChatGPT to break this down and provided a very similar list of subskills. A lot of this was done while going for long walks with my phone in my pocket. So we have 8 subskills we can work on. The first 4 to 5 skills build upon each other in order, so I highly recommend focusing more on developing the earlier skills step by step before focusing on the later skills. Here they are on screen. I recommend starting with more formal and more clearly spoken media in the beginning and increasing difficulty over time. YouTube Premium or Spotify or something, downloaded podcasts are a necessity. Okay, the first skill is sound discrimination. Train your ears to tell confusing sounds apart. So recognizing and distinguishing between different sounds, like for example, Japanese, they don't distinguish between I and L and R. So they say red light, and Spanish has perro versus perro, which means butt and dog. In English, you hear beach and you instantly know it's not bitch. In Spanish, so as an exercise, what we could do is you could get like a list of pairs, so perro perro, casa casa, hombre hambre, and put it into Google Translate or find a podcast to hear them. And say each word out loud, mimicking the rhythm and the stress, really emphasizing the differences between the two, okay? Then listen for evil words in podcasts, repeat it out loud when you hear it. Okay, I also recommend using text-to-speech services. For example, 11 Labs converts anything you write into native-sounding speech. Ideally, you'd also do a few lessons with a teacher and practice pronunciation, because being able to pronounce words correctly will help train your subconscious and ears on how to recognize sounds. Okay, if your pronunciation is completely off, you're going to struggle to hear. The second skill is parsing and chunking. Break the language down into understandable blocks, words, phrases. Okay, so native speakers speak quickly and words blend together, and your brain needs to know where one word ends and one word begins. So as an exercise, listen to a podcast, a natural conversation, and every time you hear a chunk you understand, pause and repeat it out loud as a full phrase. For example, the Spanish sentence, me di cuenta de que. Don't worry if you don't understand everything, just grab the pieces that you do. Okay, you could also do this with words that you don't know, but if you can recognize the word, what it would be, despite you not even knowing it. Okay, so as an example, let's say you hear the word acontecimiento, and you have no idea what it means. It means event. But you can at least recognize it and imagine how it's spelled, so then you can look it up on your phone, or you can just ask the person and get them to repeat it or elaborate. Okay, so this gives you a lot of flexibility while you're learning as well, and you're able to add those to your vocab. You can also use ChatGPT advanced voice mode. It's an exercise where you repeat phrases and get it to critique you. Okay, it can be a little frustrating to set this up. But yeah, it's very good. It'll just correct you on your pronunciation, what you said or didn't say. Okay, the third skill is vocab recognition. So strengthening word recall by hearing words in context and recognizing familiar words by sound. So you need to build out your vocabulary. Okay, I recommend doing lots of reading, flashcards, whatever you prefer. But yeah, build the vocab out and now identify what that actually sounds like. Okay, so when you hear words, pause it and feel free to rewind 5-10 seconds and re-listen. But yeah, pause it and identify which word and how does it sound. And you can try to do this in different accents as well, of course. Although it would probably be better to focus on one accent in the beginning. So I used to constantly have my phone in my hand all the time when I was with people on dates, while walking around, while listening to podcasts. I just have the translator open and I do this all the freaking time. Another exercise I did, which was very helpful, was watching like a show in Spanish, but I'd delay the subtitle by 3 seconds. That way I could pause it, or I could just quickly mentally imagine, map out what words were spoken. Okay, and then I'd have the subtitles come up to confirm that. Now, the fourth skill is working memory. So hold information in your head while decoding it. What I mean is holding sounds and words in your mind long enough to process the remaining. So someone says a long sentence, you have to keep earlier parts in mind while listening to the rest, okay? So as an exercise, listen to a sentence from a podcast, keep the sentence short, like 4 to 6 words, and say it back without looking or translating, okay? And now once you're comfortable, pause it and think like, what does this actually mean? Okay, and keep the structure and vocab in your head. So let's say you hear the sentence in English, the apple falls from the tree. First thing that comes to mind are the words, okay? And now you need to make a meaning of it. And before you can do that, like if you don't have skills, listening skills, before you do that, the speaker's already going to be on the next sentence. But can you make something of that sentence, something tangible? Because oftentimes I'd hear all the individual words and just, putting my effort into making sense of them, but I wouldn't understand what the sentence would mean, okay? And you're going to have the same problem, you understand sentences, but you don't understand the bigger picture. It's okay, it's totally normal. You'll get lost along the way. Okay, the fifth skill is being able to make educated contextual guesses, because when you're listening, you're not going to know every word, without the subtitles. During a natural conversation, podcasts, you won't catch everything. So your brain has to guess based off of context, so based off of tone, topic, situation. Okay, so as an exercise, you're going to listen to a podcast with a clear theme, something like a yoga, motivational speech, cooking, whatever. And you're going to listen and try to predict the next phrase or sentence, or even just some of the next words. Okay, and when you hear an unfamiliar word, without reading or looking it up, just guess its meaning based on everything around it, based on the tone, what was just said, the situation. Okay, and then after you guess, re-listen with a transcript or subtitles and verify your guesses. This is going to further train your intuition and cement the skill. The sixth skill is grammar recognition. So start hearing grammar patterns automatically. So you're going to notice like verb tenses, gender agreement, and obviously, grammar is important. It helps you understand who is doing what to whom, the object and direct object, the focus of the conversation. So focus just on one structure at a time, like past tense or preterite or subjunctive, future conditional, whatever. So, and mentally highlight every time you hear it. So let's say you hear like abria, you can know it's like future. Yeah, I forget. Imagine you hear ir, it's infinitive, okay? I recommend spending a lot of time practicing grammar on ChatGPT. Get a tester on your grammar patterns, do translations from English to your target language or vice versa. A last listening skill is tuning your ear. So you're going to train your rhythm, your intonation, and the cadence of how you speak, because, languages have different melodies, or should we say dialects and accents do. So you're going to get to help you anticipate what's coming. Okay, so choose an audio, listen to it, repeat it as exactly in the same speed, same intonation, and then just compare this to how it actually sounds. Okay, and do what you say match the actual words as well. And the final skill is a meta skill, which is emotional regulation. So this is going to help you manage frustration when you don't understand. You can do this at any level. I recommend doing this consistently. So learning to stay calm and focused will improve your ability to listen longer and with less stress. Okay, because it's stressful. Like so many words are coming at you. It takes effort. Your brain feels fried or frustrated. You didn't catch this. You didn't catch that. So just pause the audio or just take a little mental step back and say, it's okay. It's okay not to understand everything. I'm training. I'm making mistakes as part of the process. If you're listening, rewind 10 seconds, listen again, calmly. This builds tolerance to uncertainty, emotional flexibility, and resilience. Okay, and relax as much as possible. It can get frustrating. Just relax and train those emotional muscles. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful. And this is the process that I used. Listening is people say just listen a lot, just identify words, but this is really like things you can actually focus on step by step and go on to next steps. And if you do find yourself struggling with certain things, you can actually like narrow down what's causing you problems in your target language in the listening. Okay, so thank you very much, and subscribe.